Good morning, this is Josh from Midnight Auto Repair. I am here in beautiful Pinellas, Florida to tell you about how this revival almost didn't happen. So I've got to apologize. I had to figure out a lot of things quickly. I didn't get really any of it on camera, unfortunately, which I feel bad about, but we had a fuel sending unit on this particular vehicle here, which is now my 2008 Suzuki Burgman 400, and it hadn't ran in 8 years. And unfortunately, one of the issues we ran into was it had been parked 8 years ago with ethanol fuel in it, and believe it or not, it seized up the fuel pump. It was all kinds of corroded. I've called around everywhere in this area, which you would think Western Florida, around Tampa, you'd be able to find one. But unfortunately, with supply shortages, we haven't had such luck. So I had to get creative and do some backwoods engineering. Now, this is my steed home from Florida. So that's right. I'm going to be doing 1,200 plus miles this week on a 400cc scooter. So I want you guys to follow around me a little bit here, because you know, when you think road trips, you think Gold Wings, you think big Harleys, ultra glides, road glides, stuff like that. You don't normally think scooter. So hang with me, see how crazy I am. But also, look at this. It's absolutely freaking beautiful here. Alright guys, this is Josh from Midnight Auto Repair coming back at you. So, I was supposed to leave this morning at 6 a.m., but the scooter had other ideas. It decided that, in all its fury, that the fuel pump and sending unit died. Good thing to find out, at least before I left town. Now, I'm going to do one that you Burgman 400 owners might find kind of useful, actually. So the fuel pumps for this particular model, this is an AN400, it's supposed to be from 2008 to 2017, or 07 to 17, something like that. So I have figured out that you can actually modify one from a 2004 to fit in here. So what I'm going to show you is, so we have our 2004 fuel sending unit in here, which I had to tweak the pickup on it just a little bit so that way it would settle flat at the bottom of the tank. But honestly, that really wasn't that big of an issue. The bolt pattern lines up perfectly, honestly. And the only thing I had to do was take this guy here and just tweak him down a little bit. And I mean, it's a stretch, it barely makes it up to the injector and the throttle body. But I mean, guys, you can, I think, might be able to find these easier than you can find the current ones they want almost $500 for, brand new. I kind of wanted to show you that and, you know, help you if you're working on one of these AN400s and you're running into this issue. It does work. By the way, the fuel pump from a 2001 to 2005 Honda Civic is what's in there. Hooks right up to the hose, hooks right up to the regulator. Not an issue at all. It's freaking great. So I figure I'd let you know that. Josh and Midnight Auto Repair getting ready to hit the road. Palm Harbor to Pikeville, North Carolina. First time in 8 years on the road. Fuel system's rebuilt. Wish me luck. I will be back with you. Alright guys, so when they say pop-up thunder shower in Florida, god damn, they mean it. Holy hell. I am as wet as I can possibly be, and it's still not letting up yet. I'm hoping it does, because I've made it 20 miles in my 600-mile day already. So I'm really hoping this is a brief hiatus, but for you, those of you watching my TikToks who aren't aware, I am doing Clearwater, Florida by Tampa to North Carolina tonight, and then from North Carolina to Erie, Pennsylvania. So 1,200 miles on a scooter that hasn't ran in 8 years. So probably now is a good time to, follow me and make sure that I don't get any wetter. Alright? See you guys later. Alright guys, so at the end of day one, we have made it from Palm Harbor, Florida to Brunswick, Georgia. The only unfortunate part is with the different sending unit, the one that's not for it, I only get to use 7/10 of a gallon before it starts falling on its face and not picking up fuel, which I would really like to know why, because I believe that sending unit should be sitting at the bottom of the tank, but probably just going to have to get to Raleigh first and see what's going on with it, pull the sending unit back out of it, and just check it out. Because it's kind of... I originally went into this plan with the fact that I was going to have roughly 150 miles between fuel ups. Now I am 70 miles between fuel ups, which it kind of puts you in a little bit of constraint, because sometimes you get a long gap between stops, and I want to make sure that I don't get hung out to dry, because that kind of happened to me earlier on my first tank, where I didn't know that this was a thing until I was going down the road and I was doing let's see here, how do I not incriminate myself on YouTube? I was blurring the speed limit to the point where it just ran out of gas right there. Boom. And I managed to cough it and fart it and sputter it into the next exit and put fuel in it, which it, yet again, only took 7/10 of a gallon. Wouldn't think anything of it. But I guess this is what you get when you mix and match parts, but at least it got me on the road. But I'll tell you what, this thing is a little Cadillac as far as driving. I left Palm Harbor at 4 o'clock because I had to actually go get the sending unit to even put it in. And I managed to put, let's see here, I started with 662 miles. I am now down to 408, so I mean, I'm making good time, especially considering the thunderstorm really killed some of my time. And obviously, getting a late start didn't help either, but I'm bringing you along. Maybe tomorrow, when things look a little nicer, I can film and show you guys around the bike. Also, pro tip, if you're going to Florida and you're going to be on the coast, I happen to be in Tarpon Springs, which is the sea sponge capital of that area. Well, pro tip is, in your backpack, your pillion pack there, buy 2 of the sea sponges and put them towards the front, and you end up with a nice padded seat back. That has made a huge difference in this trip. But I am at the hotel. I am going to eat my required non-diet friendly dinner, and I will come back to you guys tomorrow. Peace. Welcome to Midnight Auto and day 2 of the trip. Morning here. So it's like 6:30 in the morning. Me and the Burgman, we're we're back at this game, and I don't know if I've ever walked you guys around this. Let me give you the dime tour. All right, so what we got is a 2008 Suzuki Burgman, and genuinely, this thing's actually pretty pristine. It's only got like 8,000 miles on it now, and it's only because I crossed it over to 8,000 miles last night. My sister got it in like 2011, and from what I understand, she only put like 300 miles on this thing in, well, between 2011 and now. And it sat for 8 years. That's kind of the problem I'm running into, and the bane of my existence is that I had to modify the fuel system. So I'm using a sending unit out of a 2004 Burgman, which they're in the same family, but they're not. It's not right. I wired it in, I made it work. The only issue is I can only go use 7/10 of a gallon before it drops below the pickup, which is suboptimal on a long road trip, which means I'm stopping like every 60 miles to put fuel in it because I have 2 gallons of fuel I just can't freaking access. But, will and determination, right? Alright guys, so at this point we're doing Brunswick, Georgia to Pikeville, up by Raleigh, North Carolina. Then I get to see my kiddo. I'm excited for that. But cross your fingers for me. I'm gonna get on the road here. I'll probably catch up with you about lunch. You know, I feel bad that I don't get any drive-by shots or anything, but it's just me, and bear with me. I'm trying to at least give you the short and long of the trip as I go through it. But now is the perfect time to subscribe and see if you can catch me and see where I'm going. See if I make it. That's kind of the whole point of this epic trip, is the chips are down, I'm making it work, we got this. So this is Josh from Midnight Auto saying have a good day. I'll catch up to you about lunchtime or so. Hopefully I'm close to my destination. Have a good one. Alright guys, so I just passed Florence, South Carolina. I saw a sign and I had to make use of it. Everybody says you gotta go see a Buc-ee's. So, guess what? A Buc-ee's. It's a good time. Hold on a second here. Good morning from Midnight Auto Repair. So this is day 4 on the road. I took the day off yesterday and I got to spend some great family time with my kiddo and everybody. So, it was much needed and it was a welcome break from putting down miles. But guess what's been putting down miles right along with me? The Berg. I had to play with the fuel system a little yesterday because I'm trying to get a little more range. This whole 40 miles between it starting to cough and run out of fuel is getting kind of old. And to be fair, I'm on the leg of the trip where fuel range is going to start mattering a lot more, especially once I get into Pennsylvania. Because once I get into Pennsylvania, I'm not going to have regular fuel stops along the highway. I'm going to have 200 miles of small towns and hoping that I get to the small towns. Henceforth, why we have added 2 gallons of fuel capacity. Just in case, because we're going to test my repair, trust but verify. You know how that goes. But I wanted to catch up with you guys. I know that this is kind of a along the way updates. I'm not able to give you like filming and stuff like that, so I'm trying my best here, but this is a trip for me, but I wanted to bring you guys along, so stay tuned and also subscribe down in that little area there. Keep following me because I tend to do wild stuff like this, so see you guys later. Alright guys, so we're back, and we're in Pennsylvania. So I bruised and cruised through North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and now I am back in PA. And guess what? It's still going strong. The friggin' Burgman. As long as I keep fueling it, this thing just keeps moving. Also, going through DC, that kind of sucked, and there's no immediate fuel off the highway, so we're making that work. But for now, dude, this thing's still going. Although, I don't know how much more I got left in me. The equipment can take it. I don't know how much my rear end can hold up to this anymore. This is going to be pretty brutal after 400 miles, and I still got 243 to go, so I'll catch up with you guys. Good morning from Midnight Auto Repair. Just want to let you guys know I got back to beautiful Erie, Pennsylvania. I got back at about 10 o'clock last night, and I was exhausted. You know, I did a little over 600 miles in 14 hours. I needed the break. But I wanted to show you that Palm Harbor to Erie, Pennsylvania on a scooter is possible. I did right about 1,300 miles in 3 days if we don't count the day I took off to spend with my family. That's a decent ride. Solid, I would say. But less about me and what I did. Yeah. Let's check out the scooter. Hold on a second. Alright guys, so when it comes to the Burgman, yay, nay, it's definitely a yay. Like, don't treat it like it's a comical scooter. You know, the size may fool you, but I mean, this thing, it's as long as a regular, like a sport bike. As far as wheelbase, the tires just happen to be a little smaller, that's all. Very stable on the highway. At anything your right hand wants to allow you to do. You know, I mean, it'll do triple digit speeds, just. It is only the 400, it's not the 650. But is it something that's worthy of a road trip? Oh, hell yeah. Honestly, the only issue I had with this particular scooter was the fact that it ran better than me most of the time. You know, you can stretch out on it, you can be comfortable. It's no Goldwing, but it's also never meant to be. It's meant to be more of a local, you can hit the highway, whatnot. But there are guys out there that road trip these things all the time, and actually, there's somebody on the Burgman forum, or the owners group there, that just did one of the Iron Butt challenges on one of these things, which is impressive. He's got my respect, because, I mean, I could have tried that, but by the time I was done last night, I was ready to be off the road. I couldn't picture trying to get in another 400 miles in that time. I mean, you'd literally have to like catnap for like 2 or 3 hours and then just go right back at it again. Solid. Rides glass smooth. The fuel economy, I mean, on flat ground when I was down Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, I was getting about 60 miles per gallon on the highway, and that's keeping up with traffic for anybody who knows how everybody drives on I-95 down there. Up here, once I started getting into the hills, it dropped down to about 50, 55. It really wasn't bad. They're a wonderful thing. Like, would I include it? Obviously. I did. This is now my scooter, and I'm kind of excited to go put more mileage on it. I do need to give it a bath. It is wearing every single bug I've hit along the way. Not to mention the dust from it sitting in the garage for 8 years. And honestly, aside from a set of tires and the basic maintenance items, and having to creatively engineer a fuel system to get me home, because I didn't even have access to all of the fuel in the tank. Y'all gotta remember that, too. It's been great. I'm gonna go give it a bath, and I'll wrap up with you. Alright guys, so I also now just remembered I had to flip the phone, so I apologize for all the footage you're about to watch being stood up in bad angles, but you gotta realize I was on the road and was doing the best I can. I was trying to get all the mileage in, so I apologize for that, but I don't apologize for the trip. It was wonderful. Guys, as always, I appreciate you liking, sharing, subscribing. Like always, I appreciate you watching to the end and bearing with me. I had a blast making this trip. Hopefully you guys enjoyed at least what I could get of it on camera. And I'm going to enjoy a couple more miles on my Burgman here. So, everybody, Josh from Midnight Auto Repair saying have a wonderful day. Thank you.